James O'Brien on LBC. Listen on your smart speaker. Just say, play LBC.
It is 33 minutes after 12. If you are, and frankly at this point in the historical cycle you should be, a student of the authoritarian playbook, then you will know what you do once the evidence that your administration or regime has done something unconscionable, heinous, egregious, becomes absolutely undeniable. Russia did it with the shooting down of the MH17 aircraft. Russia did it with the chemical attacks in Syria. Russia did it. Russia does it. Putin does it. Whenever the evidence that they've done something hideous becomes absolutely undeniable, you have an official investigation. You have an official inquiry. Anyway, Simon Marks joins us now, live from Washington, D.C., to tell us the very latest on the shootings of Alex Pretty and Renee Nicole Good. Simon.
Well, James, the very, very latest is that within the last few minutes, President Trump has taken to his social media account to warn Iran that time is running out if they want to avert an American attack militarily on their country, which is, of course, a fresh effort at distraction, because Donald Trump knows that time is running out if he wants to avert the formation of a circular firing squad within his own administration over the killings now of two American citizens on the streets of Minneapolis. Renee Good, the 37-year-old motorist, earlier this month, and of course, even more problematically for the administration, the slaying on Saturday by Border Patrol agents of Alex Pretty, the intensive care unit nurse, who was perfectly legally engaged in the observation of Border Patrol operations on the streets of Minneapolis on Saturday, recording them on a cell phone camera, posing no threat at all to Border Patrol agents. He was also perfectly legally carrying a pistol that was legally permitted and that he had every right to carry when Border Patrol agents seized upon him, disarmed him of his weapon, and then fired an estimated 10 shots into him. According to information furnished to Capitol Hill last night by the Border Patrol, body cam footage taken from the vests of some of the officers at the scene shows that two of them fired their Glocks at Mr. Pretty and indicates that there was confusion among the officers about whether he still had a gun or not. There is no evidence on the tape, at least none that was disclosed to lawmakers on Capitol Hill, that Mr. Pretty brandished his weapon at those Border Patrol agents, as virtually every single one of President Trump's senior lieutenants has claimed, but not the organ grinder himself. Take a listen to what happened yesterday when Donald Trump was in Iowa at a family restaurant on a campaign swing through Iowa ahead of the midterm elections, and see what he does the first time he's asked a question, the most trenchant and important question that he was going to face yesterday, by Rachel Scott of ABC News.
Mr. President, some of your own administration officials have labeled Alex Pretty.
By the way, this is ABC fake news, this one. She hasn't asked me a good question in years. I think a nice woman, but I don't really like her too much. Go ahead. What do you say?
So he whips the diners in that restaurant up against the reporter from ABC, Rachel Scott, a highly respected, serious-minded and fair-minded reporter within the White House press corps. He then goes to another reporter to try and avoid taking her question. She eventually gets another chance to ask it. Let's listen to that.
Do you agree with the assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Pretty is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun.
He hadn't heard that his own top officials had called Alex Pretty a domestic terrorist and, in the case of Stephen Miller, his deputy White House chief of staff, an assassin. And as you'll hear in this final clip of Donald Trump from yesterday, he immediately goes to the fact that Mr. Pretty was carrying a gun and appears to attach blame to Mr. Pretty for his own killing at the hands of the Border Patrol without exactly saying it.
We view that as a very unfortunate incident, okay? Right. Everyone, unless you're a stupid person, very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had two fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's very unfortunate.
So, the President of the United States, again, piling on the memory of Mr. Pretty. The National Rifle Association, the country's most powerful pro-gun lobby, has now put out a second statement about the killing of Mr. Pretty, saying the NRA unequivocally believes all law-abiding citizens have a right to keep and bear arms wherever they have a legal right to be. And that is indicative of mounting fury within Republicans about the way in which this is being handled by President Trump and his administration.
It's like a cornered rat, isn't it? And more dangerous, obviously, but he's just pushing to see where he might find an escape route here. Is it going to work if I blame it on the gun? I'm going to distance myself from Stephen Miller. I'm going to pretend, I'm going to lie that I don't know what Stephen Miller has said, because of course he knows what Stephen Miller has said. The truth disappeared, as we know. It's never really been in the room. But that which lie is going to serve me best? And if I can't get a lie to float, I'm going to put the country on a war footing like Francis Underwood in House of Cards, because that way I can distract from the thing that I'm using to distract from the thing that was originally done to distract from the Epstein files. It's hard to keep up, isn't it?
Distraction upon distraction upon distraction. Look, the real problem that they've got is that they've ditched Greg Bovino, the
has he
head
definitely
of the Border
gone?
Patrol. They've I believe they were pulling him out last night. Certainly there are reports that he is losing his official title of commander and is going to be sent back down to the southern border from where he emerged. This is the strutting, swaggering head of the Border Patrol, who quite literally has styled himself. I mean, in terms of the clothing that he wears, these long trench coats, very much SS chic, as Mr. Bovino has strutted around the streets of Minneapolis and frankly terrorized residents there. They finally appear to have pulled him out and sent the immigration czar Tom Homan into Minneapolis in a bid to negotiate with state and local officials there. But the biggest problem they've got is that getting rid of Greg Bovino is not enough, because there are mounting calls from Republicans in the House of Representatives and the Senate for Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, to go. And Kristi Noem put a statement, is reported to have told friends, this was leaked to Axios, the website, last night, that, quote, everything I've done at the direction of the President and Stephen, as in Stephen Miller, the Deputy White House Chief of Staff and Donald Trump's de facto chief ideologue, who over the weekend called Mr. Pretty first a would-be assassin, then he dropped the would-be and called him an assassin in a social media post that the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, approvingly reposted on his own account. So if Donald Trump gets rid of Kristi Noem, and he says he won't, even though Republicans are calling in ever-increasing numbers for her to go, he runs the risk that she is then going to say, well, if I go, Stephen Miller has to go, and this thing could go, you know, this thing rapidly spins out of control as that circular firing squad is formed by senior figures in Donald Trump's inner circle. And, James, it's worth just remembering the license to kill that senior Trump officials have given to Border Patrol and ICE agents in Minneapolis. Stephen Miller today is saying that it looks as though the Border Patrol agents may not have been following proper protocol on Saturday. The White House provided clear guidance that the extra personnel that had been sent to Minnesota for force protection should be used for conducting fugitive operations to create a physical barrier between the arrest teams and the disruptors, by which he means the protesters. We are evaluating why the Border Patrol team may not have been following that protocol. So as he prepares to basically ditch any loyalty that he was expressing over the weekend to the agents who killed Mr. Pretty in Minneapolis on Saturday, let's remind ourselves of what Stephen Miller told ICE and Border Patrol personnel earlier this month after the killing of Renee Good. Let's hear Mr. Miller.
To all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. And anybody who lays a hand on you or tries to stop you or tries to obstruct you is committing a felony. You have immunity to perform your duties, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties.
Nothing in there, James, about following proper protocols. Nothing in there about being restrained and making sure you do everything by the book. You've got full immunity. And that was the message that the Border Patrol agents and the ICE agents who are still on the streets of Minneapolis clearly received from the man who now seems to be getting ready to try and save his own skin by turning against the Border Patrol agents who killed Mr. Pretty.
You brought all that in on time, which is an extraordinary achievement. And just because we're used to it, Simon, doesn't mean that we should be any less grateful than we usually are. I mean, does anyone get impeached, or is everything too messy even to be having a conversation that operates within the parameters of normal American politics?
Well, Democrat leaders in the House stirred themselves to life last night. Hakeem Jeffries said that if Donald Trump doesn't fire Kristi Noem, he's going to lay impeachment articles down against her and begin that proceeding. I think it is worth making the point, James, that over the weekend, protesters in New York, furious with Democratic Party leaders, protested outside the residence of Senator Chuck Schumer, the party's leader in the Senate. And, you know, I keep coming back to Senator Bernie Sanders, who several months ago was asked when Democrats up on Capitol Hill were going to get a spine and stand up to the excesses of the Trump administration. And he said to an interviewer, that's not going to happen. Any resistance to this Trump administration is going to have to come from the streets. And he was absolutely right. And the resistance to the Trump administration is coming from the streets of Minneapolis. And it's been sparked by this extraordinary character of Alex Pretty, someone who was deeply critical of the Trump administration's mass deportation policies and the manner in which they were being implemented in Minneapolis, but was also a lawful gun owner here in America. And it's the bringing together of all of that, including, of course, the solidarity of Minneapolis residents determined to rid themselves of ICE and the Border Patrol. That's been the dominant driver of everything that's taken place here over the last 4 or 5 days.
And even flirting with the idea of trying to throw the Second Amendment under the bus, as the president did in those clips that you played us, gives an indication of how serious, from their point of view, this situation is. Simon Marks, live from Washington, D.C. Thank you, as always.